Hello Stampers, I'm Dina Lanzendorf at Inkum with Dink and welcome to my video. This week for my videos and also my Facebook Live, I'm going to be focusing on the Christmas Gleaming stamp set that is in the catalog as well as the coordinating punches that go with it. Now, if you looked at them when you first opened up the holiday catalog and thought, those look very familiar to me, that's because they were out last Christmas and they carried over to this Christmas. So they are a bundle, which means when you buy the stamp set and the coordinating punches, you get a 10% discount, which is absolutely fabulous. So I'm focusing on this week and all the great cards that you can make with it. So I'm going to set these aside and show you the card that we will be making today. So we're going to be making this card right here, which is basically just a diamond layered card. Now I've seen these a lot in actually square card bases, but I didn't want to do a square card base because I don't want to have to make my own envelope. So I altered it so that it would fit on a regular 8.5 by 5.5 card. So if you're ready to get started, let's do this. Now the paper that I am going to be working with today is called the Toll Tidings Designer Series paper. It also was out last year and it is amazing paper. And I think what I love about it the most is whatever design is on one side in red, it is the same design on the flip side in garden green. So you got all these great designs and they come in both colors, which is absolutely amazing, especially if you're going to do a card like I am working on today. Okay, I thought it was important that the designer series paper that I used coordinated. So what better way to do it than the exact same design, just in different colors. So we are going to start off and you're going to need a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5. Now this one I did in red and this one I'm going to do garden green. So this one is just going to be the opposite of what my sample is. Okay, once you get that folded, you want to be sure and use your bone folder so that your crease is nice and crisp. Our next layer is going to be just a regular mat. And it needs to be 5.25 by 4. And I'm not going to adhere that down yet because I want to put my ribbon on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And the ribbon I'm going to use is the Very Vanilla Scalloped Lace Trim. It is very pretty ribbon. And so I thought it would be just gorgeous on this particular card. So I'm just going to trim my ribbon about a 1/2 inch wider on either side. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. And you know, my favorite adhesive to use when I'm working with ribbon is my tear and tape. So I'm just going to tear off a couple of pieces of my tear and tape. Put it on my sides like that. Going to peel off the backing. Here we go. Take my ribbon and I'm just going to be sure it's centered top to bottom. And I'm just going to fold it around so that it catches on my tear and tape. Do the same thing to the other side. Make sure it's centered top to bottom and then just fold it around like that. Then it's ready to go ahead and go down on my card base. So I'm going to use my green glue and put it around the 4 edges. I'm a mess here. Everything's falling over. And I'm going to center that and put that right down on my card base, just like that. Okay. Now my next layer is going to be a layer of, well, let me go through all the layers now, of cardstock. And this one is going to measure 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And it is going to go right there. The layer of designer series paper that goes on there is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8, and it's going to adhere right down like that. The next layer is another piece of Very Vanilla, and this one is going to measure 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and it's going to go right there. Our next layer of designer series paper is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. It's going to go just like that. Next layer of cardstock, 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. It's going to go right like that. Final layer of designer series paper, 1 5/8 by 1 5/8, and it's going to go just like that. So now we got to take just a second and adhere all our layers together. I'm going to go through first and put on all my pieces of designer series paper. Just need to center them in your cardstock squares. Then I can go through and adhere my cardstock squares down in my diamond pattern. So on this one, I just want to eyeball it top to bottom. And then come through and look and make sure the sides look about even. Get my next one, and I'm going to put it as a square. So what I want to do, make sure that it looks like all 4 areas where the red designer series paper shows through are about the same. Judge and make sure it's going straight with the top and the bottom of the card. Then I'm going to take my smallest layer, and again, I'm going to go this way, and it is going to hang over the square it's on. So just make sure it hangs over about equally the same on all 4 corners. So it looks like that. Now I am ready to do my ornament. Okay, and the ornament is one of the stamps in the Christmas Gleaming stamp set. Okay, we've got 3 different ornaments, 2 of the bigger one, 1 of the small one. So this is going to be the smallish one. And I'm just going to stamp it on a piece of very vanilla cardstock. And I'm going to do it in my garden green. Okay, so just doing exactly the opposite colors that I did in my sample card. Okay, these stamps are so pretty. The details on them are amazing. Then I'm going to take my coordinating punch. Just going to stick that in there. Get it lined up exactly. Punch that out. Then I want to put him on, but I want to pop him up with some dimensionals. So we'll just put 1 on the back there, and I'm going to center him right in the middle of my diamond there. Okay. Now, in order for him to stand out a little bit, I'm going to put a little piece of ribbon on the top of him. Whoops. So just going to cut a little piece of my same ribbon. Let's tie it in a little knot. And we're going to stick that down with a glue dot. So I'm going to expose my glue dot, put my knot right on the glue dot, and then stick it on there right like that. Oh, I like that. All right, now I'm going to do the greeting. So another fun stamp in this set is this Merry Christmas right here. And I love it because rather than stamping the word, it stamps the negative of it. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to get my stamp and my garden green. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it right down there like that. So see, it doesn't actually stamp the words, it stamps around the words, which is too fun. So since it is a rectangle, it's super, super simple to fussy cut. Just going to go ahead, cut along the straight lines, and I just want to leave just a thin, thin line of vanilla around it, just because it's a little more forgiving when you do that, and you don't have to be quite as perfect at what you're cutting. So I'm going to go ahead, I want to use some more dimensionals. This time I'm using my mini dimensionals. Put a couple on there to make my words pop up. And I'm just going to stick this down here in the right hand corner, just like that. So there you go. There is a couple of super easy Christmas cards, but I love the layering of the designer series paper. One important thing about this paper that I used, it is super beautiful, but it is one of the packs of paper that is on sale this month for 15% off. So it's right up here, the Tool Tiding Designer Series paper. So a pack of that used to be $11.50, is now $9.78. So it's a great deal. And look at all these other paper packs that are included in the sale. 15% off all of them. So I will be showcasing Designer Series paper also this week while I'm showing the Christmas Gleaming bundle. And when you're ready to place your order, be sure and go on dinalstamps.stampinup.net. Use this month's October host code. When you do and your order reaches $30, that qualifies you for my monthly card kit. So these are the 3 cards that are in this month's card kit. The card kit will actually be supplies for 6 cards. One of each of these 3 cards will be completed for you to use as a sample. The other one of all of these 3 cards will be the actual, just the consumables, which, as you can tell on this, is almost everything to make these cards. All you're going to need to add is your own greetings. So again, once your order hits $30 this month, using this host code, you will get that kit. And in case you're curious what a kit looks like, it's going to come to you looking a lot like this. Okay, it's going to be in a cellophane bag. You're going to have all these envelopes in it that will contain the supplies to make your card. This particular card happens to be for this month's club. So these are the cards that we're going to be making in my Harvest Hellos club this month. Super duper cute cards, great for fall occasions, things like that. So again, be sure and go to my website, use my host code, and that qualifies you for a card kit. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.